Follow your gut and follow what feels right. My body is not where it needs to be. I feel my soul is not where it needs to be. I reached a point at which it was inevitable for me to have to stop immediately. I'm worried about Texas. I really am. Hello friends, good evening. It's good to be back. Tonight, I'm going to walk you through a full body workout session with a heavy focus on the legs. I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit of upper body towards the end for some basic synchronicity. And that's going to be it for the vlog. Unfortunately, I've been moving around too much recently to record properly. This is my big brother's spare bedroom. I'm sleeping in my nephew's bunk bed. All my belongings right now are in these bags. It looks like I am moving back to Germany, but right now I'm in a bit of a transitional phase and I'm, well, per definition, I have no place of my own to stay in. So this is all I have right now. I can't film around the house because my brother has 3 children here and naturally so, they're not very comfortable having the children on camera the whole time. It's also far too loud downstairs. There are 2 dogs. So you and I are going to have an intimate workout session. Got it written down here, but I'm sure it'll be illustrated somewhere on the screen. And while I work out, I'm going to talk to you, share what I've learned recently. That'll be it. Hopefully, soon, I'll be living under my very own roof again and I'll be able to do this more naturally. But right now, life's been rough. So, let's get into it. To kick things off, we're going to start with the most basic of all basic movements, compound movements. We're going to go to squats. The only tool I'll be using is a 16 kilo big ass kettlebell. Let's get into it. We're going to go 3 sets of 20 reps each. I am going to work out the reps and sets. I'm not going to be counting my breaks in between. We're going to go off of feeling, bodily intuition. Let's get into it. Okay, I'm struggling to figure out what I can say, what I can't say, what makes sense to say. 3rd set, and just keep moving. Okay, first exercise, done. 3 sets, 20 reps, bodyweight squats. With the addition of a kettlebell. Fucking hell. For the first 9 weeks of the prep for Texas, when I still lived in Warsaw, I worked very hard and very well. I trained between 7 to 12 times a week. I did my biggest sessions on the weekends. I did back-to-back long runs every single weekend. I would do anything between 20 and 40 kilometers on a Saturday. And I would do anything between 20 and 80 kilometers on a Sunday. And I upped the mileage, perhaps a little too quickly. I can admit, perhaps a little too quickly. But so many multiple little factors contributed into making me dive bomb off of a cliff in late December that I reached a point at which it was inevitable for me to have to stop immediately. And that evening, when I reached out to my coach, Alyssa, and I said to her that something is wrong and that I'm worried, we spoke on the phone and she eventually told me, okay, you're done. 7 days, complete rest. No training whatsoever. 0. I want you to sleep as much as you can. I want you to eat as much as you can. I want you to recover. Well, 7 days turned very quickly into 18. And towards the end of the year, just as my brother was leaving from Warsaw to fly back to Germany, my family had a huge feud. A huge falling out. It led to the hardest week of the year for me, but also one of the hardest weeks of the past few years. I decided consciously to pull away from social media and I had to reflect. I went to the church every evening. I cried a lot and I had no idea what to make of myself, my future. Obviously, I can't discuss in detail what the family feud was about, but shit got dark. Fuck this shit, man. Kurwa. I'm pissed off because people are giving me so much. Rappid and Kim are giving me so much. Everyone is trying their best to make it possible for me to flourish and to expand and to live. And constantly, something fucks up. And now I'm in my older brother's spare bedroom and I can't record a good fucking vlog. Next fucking exercise. Kettlebell Romanian deadlifts. We're gonna go for 3 sets of 12 reps. My hamstrings aren't very strong. And I just had a tendinopathy on one of my hamstrings on the right leg that I'm recovering from still. So we're going to go easy, low rep range. We're going to go 12 with a light weight and we're just going to feel into the structure. Instead of focusing on removing the weight from the ground, we're going to begin movement up top, standing. We're going to stand slightly wider than shoulder width. We're going to focus only on feeling the hamstrings work and pushing the hips backwards. Feel the pull, bring the hip forward. 1 rep. We'll go for 12. Okay, I'm not sure if that was 12. I think it might have been more, but I got lost counting because I was already anticipating what I should say, what I should share. And here's the bottom line of it. We live in an age in which your privacy and your attention has become very valuable currency. I'm speaking very dramatically, but in a way, right now, my livelihood depends on the degree to which I allow you into me, into my life. And frankly, I'm not too proud to be sharing too much of my life because I have a big race coming up in America that is being provided me as a huge opportunity for which I'm behind on prep and schedule because my body is not where it needs to be. I feel my soul is not where it needs to be. I feel my mind is not where it needs to be. I also don't have a place to call my own home. My relationships to my parents are poor. I make just enough money right now to sufficiently, if at all, eat. I'm not complaining here, I'm being given so much, don't understand me wrong. But I'm reaching a point at which I'm fed up and sick of sharing. Because I cannot share with you in a superficial manner. I can't share with you in a way that doesn't feel like I'm actually sharing, because then I'm faking something. And my body responds very poorly to faking something in front of you. It does, I fucking hate it. I faked most of my life as a child growing up in an environment that was hostile and dangerous. You had to adapt and change and fake to pretend you're fine and make sure and ensure that no one around you is going to hurt you, is going to lie to you, is going to change your life for the worse. So my body responds very poorly to me faking things because I don't want to. But the only way not to fake right now is to tell you bluntly that I'm worried, that I'm scared, that I'm afraid, and now I'm venting on footage that's meant for a vlog. And ideally, yes, the vlog would be over the span of a couple of days and it would have some nice little shots in between me doing my everyday life things, but I have nothing to show you right now. I have nothing to show you. I sleep in houses that aren't mine, on beds that aren't mine. I use kitchens that aren't mine. Next set. Once again, we want to focus primarily on the hip moving backwards, nothing else. If you focus on the hip moving on the horizontal axis, backwards properly, the weight will shift vertically downwards. We're going to go for 12 reps. I'm not in a headspace in which the competition in Texas is my first and foremost priority. Although it should be, but I'm not. I'm stressing what I can share and what I can't share and what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling way too much. We're going to go through this workout. We're going to focus on the workout, on the work that has to be done. This is what we're here for. Many deadlifts. Gonna go for third set with 12 reps. That's 3 sets, 12 reps. We're moving on. We've got kettlebell forward lunge. We're gonna go for 3 sets of 10 reps this time. The lunge is probably the strongest unilateral movement you can incorporate into your training as a runner. It's very, very essential. Fantastic for building knee health and knee strength. Great for proprioception and stabilization of the ankle. Fantastic for force generation in the hip if you can hold them isometrically at the bottom. The lunge is a fantastic movement. You have to incorporate into every single session when you're working on leg strength if you can. This is my recommendation, a command. I'm not an expert. Let's get into it. I'm going to shift the weight into the hand on the working legs side. So I'm going to do these 10 lunges on my right leg only. And then I'll switch the weight into my left hand afterwards. I'm gonna go too far in the step. Should be enough. Go down, hold a little bit, push back. That's 1. Shift the weight, left hand, left leg. Let's go. The benefit of incorporating a short isometric hold at the bottom of a movement like this, or any movement really, is that the isometric hold incorporates into holding and maintaining this position tendons and muscle fibers that otherwise don't fire or aren't employed to work. They don't usually have to be. I've stopped using my Strava, no longer feed myself constant confirmation from people liking and me expressing and showing, just no more validation. You have to develop for yourself a relationship with what validation means to you. I do not want to be validated for training efforts, and I noticed that I was feeling very validated very often. So the reason why I stopped posting my stories, in my stories, how I'm training, I just stopped feeding myself that meal. Stop using the watch was an intuitive decision. I now run on time rather than on distance. And that's difficult sometimes when you have thousands and thousands of people watching. And I know I sound super dramatic saying so, but that's the case. It's unconventional, and I know it's not common because social media is attractive and everyone wants to be validated. It's a very human thing, but it's not healthy. I just want to be healthy. Let's continue with the workout. All right, we got 3 sets of 30 seconds of Copenhagen planks. Beautiful but disgusting. Instead of going for 30 seconds, we're going to go for 22 to 25, somewhere within that range. Especially my right leg, I can feel a hamstring still shooting pain into my knee, especially in this little exercise. I want to keep the duration of each rep somewhat similar. I'm going to go for 22 to 25 seconds. 2 sets down on each leg. I'm going to go right back into next and last set. A disgusting exercise, but essential if you want to build strong and stable legs. Weighted calf raises with the kettlebell. With calf raises, the only first and foremost thing to remember and to focus on is to ensure that you are moving upwards and not diagonally upwards and forwards. That's 30. One thing that I want to improve on in my own training moving forward is presence. Especially whenever I'm working in a commercial gym, especially when I train again in a commercial gym, I see very often. I see people texting constantly in between sets, looking into their phone constantly in between sets. The degree to which accuracy and precision in your reps translates over to the quality of your strength, your fitness, your performance is really heavily underestimated. You need to be as present as can be in your training to generate as good results as you want or as possible. Additionally, I think presence whilst doing a task, presence while at work, presence doing anything allows for lessons to manifest, to show themselves, to expose themselves, to sicker in to your mind, to your body, to find a place to rest. Lessons need to find a place to rest. 3rd set, let's go. Okay, next up, we're going to go into some stability work. These are exercises that are fairly generic, fairly simple, but essential for health. 3 sets of 30 reps of regular glute bridge. We're going to lay flat on our backs. Depending on how close you have your feet to your ass in this exercise, it will get more difficult or easier. The closer your feet are to your ass, the easier it will be to generate force and lift the pelvis. The further your legs are, the larger amount of strength you will need to push yourself up. We'll lay flat on our backs. The only goal of the glute bridge, of the regular glute bridge, is to generate force in through your ankles, into your heels, and then into your feet, and push the pelvis upwards. Very simple. Very essential for force generation in the ass and the buttocks. You will feel when doing this exercise that your hamstrings are contracting to help lift the ass. If you have weak hamstrings like me, you will feel them more than you probably should. That's good. It means you're exposing yourself and helping you grow. All right, glute bridge. 2nd set, 30 reps. Exercises like these are boring, but they must be done. They must be done. They make a difference. All right, glute bridge. 3rd set, 3rd and final set. Let's get this done. Okay. All right, next up, 2nd generic exercise that I like to do for general stability and for hip flexor health and strength is my favorite variation of sit-ups. Legs are elevated above the ground. You contract the legs, bring the knees basically to your face, and you try to touch your heels. I'm aware that my form isn't great. I probably could be leaning back more, probably could be stretching my legs out more, but it is what it is. This is what we have. 1 set, we're gonna do 3 sets of 30 with a short break in between. I personally like to blast the stomach area when I work it, because you know, why not? Second set. Oh, I have a cramp. My phone fell down. Oh, fuck. Oh, Jesus. It's trying to provoke another cramp. Second set done. Let's take a longer break now. Between these, I don't want another cramp. That was rough. We're going to finish off legs with the last two exercises, which are both isometric holds. We're going to do a wall sit with 3 sets. And then we're going to see if the legs still have enough juice. We're going to do isometric hold in the lunge position. So, I don't really have a wall, so I'm going to use the door. 90-degree angle, knees and hips, and hold. 40. Okay, we're going to do 3 sets of this. You don't want to go too crazy, because we're also going to do 3 sets of the lunge in the isometric hold. 9. 40. One of the more valuable lessons that I've learned through making this mistake towards the end of last year is I was so caught up in thinking and believing that I have to train a certain way to perform a certain way in Texas that I abandoned all intuition and just blindly listened to what the coach was telling me and to the schedule. And so even on days when I didn't feel like I was equipped to do a specific session, on days where I felt like I don't really have it in me to go for 30 kilometers, to go for 40 kilometers, to go for 70 kilometers, I did nonetheless, because I kept thinking to myself, I have to develop the mental grit to be able to perform in Texas. This is just training. This is a good opportunity to test myself. But I was very quick to forget that training is valuable because it is done again and again and again over many, 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 many weeks. Going out, all out, 100%. Every single session, especially in those sessions where you don't feel great, where you don't feel confident, where you know your body isn't going to perform the way it should. It's dangerous because you're going to fuck yourself up in the long term. And your coach doesn't know how you feel. Your coach is not in your body, your coach is not in your legs. You have the obligation and the responsibility to decide these things on your own. Yes, it's important to push through. Yes, you will sometimes not get any sleep. Yes, you will sometimes have to train hungry. Yes, you will sometimes have to train through pain. Yes, these are all truths, but maturity is realizing when you have to embrace these realities, when you have to and when you shouldn't. And what I learned recently is that I'm not very good yet at realizing when I shouldn't. I'm getting there. Let's go again. 40. Oh, quads hurt on the last one. Okay, now we're going to go into lunge holds, and after that we're going to do some upper body and finish off this session. Last exercise with the legs, same principle. We're going to go down into the lunge position. We're going to maintain position. I'm going to hold for a specific amount of time for 3 sets. 15. Oof. This was much, much harder. No wall. When you maintain yourself up in the air, I don't want to go too crazy. 20. 2 sets down. 20, 30, 10, 20, 30. Okay, legs are done. Now we're going to go into upper body. We're going to do supersets, basically one circuit of 3 exercises. We're going to do push-ups, we're going to do bent over row with the kettlebell, and we're going to do some shrugs. And that's it. Okay, 30 push-ups. Then we're going to go into mud hold. Bent over rows. Again, not a lot of weight, but it's enough. I'm going to focus on pulling your elbows here. Elbows pull up. We've got that. Now over to the shrugs. Set one down. Let's go again. Okay, 25. Don't have the 30 in me. Goal is not to push. Goal is just to feel. Pull from your elbows. Contract your scapula nice and tight. Last but not least, what you want to focus on here is just contracting the trapezius. The last and final set, and then we're done for today. Let's go. 35. Just a few. Okay, that's it with the workout. We are finished. I'm gonna go grab some water. The primary lessons that I've learned from the first 9 weeks of the Texas prep, but especially what happened afterwards, at least regarding training. Follow your gut and follow what feels right. Leave aside rationale and logic and follow what feels right, at least every now and then. Develop a strong relationship to your own intuition and follow what feels right. Right now, it feels right not to train with a watch, not to train with Strava. Pull myself out of the limelight, make myself less accessible. I don't think it's a particularly healthy thing to do, to allow the whole world into you at all times. Having said this, I am a very open person. I share a lot of myself and my story and my life, especially through language, through speaking, through stories. I do this, but I feel some sort of resistance towards this format of it all. It's also the reason why I didn't continue with my self-documentation series, because no longer did it feel like I was self-documenting for myself, but it constantly kept feeling like I was doing it so other people could watch. And that's a sick thing to do. It's a fucked up thing to do. I don't care what the benefits of that are if you do it long enough. I don't care how much money you can make if you do it long enough. I don't fucking care. It's a sick thing to do. For me, and only me. I'm speaking for myself. I have to figure out what my relationship is going to be to this pursuit. Just don't lose sight of yourself in whatever it is you pursue, because it's very, very easy, especially if you pursue something very well and people notice and they recognize that you're doing it well. They will start offering you things. Through the acceptance of these things, it's very easy to lose a connection to yourself in developing a connection with all the things that you're being given. I'm worried about Texas. I really am. My relationship to performance is changing. I said this on the podcast with Kim and Zaza recently. I need to figure out if I'm in this for the right reasons. If I'm not, I'll have to stop, but we'll see. That's it from me. I wish you good people a beautiful Sunday, because it's Sunday when you're watching this. And if you're watching this later, I wish you a beautiful day, beautiful evening, a beautiful life. All the best. Enjoy yourself. Much love.